Hello, everyone. My name is Joris. Thank you for being with us today. We are going to discuss from Gianni Fontana, who is a marketer, analyst, journalist, and fashion and sartorial Dexterous. Thank you, Gianni, for being here.
Thank you for the invitation.
It's a pleasure. We would like to take the occasion to introduce FTCH Fashion Talks shortly before we start. And we founded Fashion Talks with my partner, Lena. We have a diverse background in sartorial, streetwear, luxury, accessories, and marketing. We have a true passion for fashion and for values in fashion. We formed Fashion Talk CH, which is a networking and learning community. It is a welcoming community for anyone interested in fashion and in how to consume less but better. We highlight projects and brands with values.
So hi everyone. So we introduce these brands to people, and basically we hold events when these are normal times. So when there is no corona, we hold events at local and sustainable shops. And I think it's a very important mission because retail is suffering today. So after corona, we will take back on networking events at shops, and at these events you can meet the people behind the brands, so the founders, the artists, the artisans, and you can learn about the products, the values, and it's also a networking event, so you can pitch concepts and just meet people who think alike and have a good time. We also have some services such as wardrobe editing, styling, and branding, and we have these great interviews with people that we find inspiring, and we think that we will find them inspiring too. For example, today is with Gianni. So thank you again for being here. And my first question would be is about you. So who is really Gianni Fontana? Can you tell us more about you?
Okay, thank you again for the invitation, and I hope we can share interesting topics for your audience. So I'm Italian, probably my name shared that, and actually I was born into a family of tailors, and my grandmother and my mom were tailors. So from an early stage, from an early age, I was used to living among fabrics and sewing machines, laboratory, and scissors and nails. But actually, as soon as I get, the age to go to the school, my family wanted me to study and do a kind of white collar job. So they tried to edge me out from that job that at the time was considered a kind of a poor job. So I studied, and after the school, I started a career in companies. I was really interested in something that was not so detached from the creativity environment, the creativity world. So I was interested in advertising, in art and publicity. So I started working for a company, and probably at the end I became a manager in communication and marketing roles. However, I have always followed the family business from afar. So I was, a kind of two different life, parallel different life. What was going on around my family and around the tailoring activity, and was going on concerning my career in business in terms of communication and marketing. Today, actually, I'm 56, so I I started working several years ago, and I have a consulting firm specializing in the world of fashion and lifestyle. So I make consultant for different brands, especially foreign brand that want to produce in Italy. So seeking for organizing production, seeking for right suppliers. even for production and even for material, and in terms of communication and marketing strategy. Sometimes I help Italian company to go abroad, because it's not easy to understand different culture in different countries of the world, and every country has a specific characteristics in terms of society, culture, economics, behaviors, and so on. So sometimes it's a kind of works that has to be managed in with a little of experience. Recently, I started teaching at university. I have a course in Italian Fashion Academy. It's the Italian Universal Art of Design. So it's a kind of a bachelor degree in art with addressed in fashion design. So I teach design management and sociology. And of course, I manage the family business still that is still active in ties and accessory manufacturing. So this is briefly 35 years of activity.
Very, very diverse. This is why also we named this meeting as discussion with the Renaissance man, because you are in so many different areas. So you have really a whole picture of the world and of the world of fashion.
I hope so. I'm quite I'm glad and honored to be. I mean, to have this special point of view now with some background in the past that give me the possibility to know different culture, to visit a lot of country, to be in different fashion show, even the major one like France or New York and London, but even in other countries like Ukraine, Poland, Azerbaijan, Georgia, or Japan, Korea. So in the past, I used to travel a lot around the world, trying to get as much as I could in terms of knowledge about fashion and design.
That is very interesting, multicultural experiences. And actually, can you tell us a bit more about the style buff?
Actually, people used to know me about was a kind of also known as the style buff because actually style buff was born in ancient times when before common and social network were using as they are now. Instagram didn't exist. Facebook was at the beginning. We didn't have like TikTok or Clubhouse or so at that time. Tumblr was probably the first platform that gave to the user the possibility to share mood, impression, whether kind of board or inspiration, really interesting. So I started using Tumblr as a blog platform, trying to spread to the world the Italian point of view in terms of mainly sartoriality, but even about other topics like food, art, traveling. So everything I have around me. So when I started was before social networks were as important as they are today. And for many years, I have used this medium to represent a mood board based on Italian elegance and tradition. Thanks to this, over the year, I had the opportunity to travel a lot. So, as I mentioned, I have been a guest in many fashion week around the world. I have lectured in many university and institutions, especially in Asia. And for me, it was a kind of way to convey my message as an Italian around the world. So this is what kind of it was the benefit that I gathered from starting a blog around Tumblr. And obviously, after years, I try to try all the social networks. So now probably Instagram is the main one, maybe the easiest. Maybe you can quickly give image representation of what you are doing or what you are thinking or what inspires you. But Tumblr was a good platform for me, a good launch platform, let's say.
So
Yeah.
actually, like to give some knowledge to people about Sartorial.
Yeah, yeah, that was the main topic at that time.
Yeah, and I've seen your other pictures. So it's also about a little bit of art and home and lifestyle and other things. And what stood out for me is that you pay a lot of attention to details. And I really like your hats and ties. And yeah, like, um, and like it's like your images are seem to be a mix between very contemporary modern and a little bit of like a retro mood board or something like that. So I wonder how would you describe your own personal style in life and also in fashion.
Yeah, actually, I like to divide style and elegance because, in my opinion, often there is a kind of a confusion. Style and elegance are two really different things, both important, but both with a specific relevance. So, elegance means being adequate to a certain circumstance. So, most often is about etiquette, a ceremony, an event, a wedding, an evening at a theater. Uh, but style is something really close to the personality. So style means a self-expression without talking. There's some people say that, and probably someone wrote that as a quotation. So as an expression of a personality means that through your style you have the possibility, if you use it, to throw out everything you have inside. You have inside your thought, your soul, your dreams, but you have inside everything that you have elaborated, gathering information about you. So information about your life, your family, your travel, and everything interested, everything represented for you something interesting. So
Yeah.
personally, I prefer things that are well done, and I have a tremendous attitude to know how things are done, especially
So
the people who made them. And this can be architecture, can be photography, can be art, can be everything you have around me, everything that surrounds me. So I think people maybe when you get older, you don't have the necessity to homologate yourself inside the society, inside among the people you are in, because maybe when you are young you are more shine and your character is not perfectly defined. But when you grow up and probably gave to your personality a stronger form, something that is more planted in the field, you can express yourself without any limit, any shine. So probably the style comes out when you are really self-confident. Obviously in the fashion you can maybe play a little bit with the style, and you can play it a little bit with your image, or the image you want people perceive or perceive watching you. So maybe you can play with accessories, and of course especially for men, accessories are something that it's not so risky, but you can have a pair of gloves or a hat or rings or a pair of hairwear, or so you can play with these things without exceeding too much in clothing. So you can wear even in black and white shirt and black tie, and then maybe playing with some accessory. And ties probably is the the main accessory that the men had from the past, and probably the accessory that gives the possibility to a man to express a little bit, to play more than a suit, more than a coat.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so yes, you care about like the quality as well, the story also like behind, because there is always like a story with the fabric, for example, like fabrics from around the world, like also in Italy of course, but in different other countries as well. So you care also about that, about the story also behind the tailor, of course, the story maybe of the tailor, the family, and the fabrics, the details also, like.
Yeah, sure. And I'm really curious. So I went to go behind the the stage, and I went to know exactly what gave the possibility to obtain the final result. So what's behind, and really often behind there is a man or a woman or people that is transporting the knowledge generation by generation, giving the possibility to all to have this tradition available. So it's really important.
What
So
do you think?
craftsmanship,
Yeah,
please.
sorry. What do you think? Why do you have this curiosity towards knowing all these elements of
But
clothing or
maybe it's
fashion?
character, maybe it's my kind of education. I mean, my family, except the work, try to give me education in music, in art, in theater. So
Mhm.
trying to um, develop the aesthetic sense that probably is one of the main characteristics of Italian and in general Mediterranean people. So we are uh, living in a beautiful world, and if you start from when we are kid to watch, to discover, and to appreciate every form of expression art, probably you get inside you a lot of seeds that can grow up and get develop your personality.
That's
That's very,
beautifully said. Yeah.
yes, definitely. And we also like talked about the before the accessories, and for you, what are the most components of your clothing um, that you pay special attention to?
Hmm. Can I say all? Actually, I mean, there is no one in particular, but I mean, in my opinion, even a white T-shirt can make up a good outfit uh, if you are expressing something, as if you are working around your style and that you are not copying somebody else. So I love ties because my family started doing ties in 1961. Uh,
Mhm.
even even if tie now is not used as it was before, but accessory in general, because they are very personal, and because not being necessary. I mean, a tie is not necessary. It is not something that protects you from the wind or the cold or from the rain. It's not something that completes something you need to, it doesn't cover you as a function. It's just a form, using a term that in Bauhaus was really uh, used. So tie is just form, it's not function. So that's why enrich the look and give you the. It's like a palette for an artist. You have a different color, and you can paint. You can add pigments and color and atmosphere around your look using something that is just decorating. It's just something that is not necessary. So, like a watch, a ring, a pair of gloves, or a brooch, or and so on. It's a matter of self-confidence. I mean, you can play with it. So there's not a particularly item that I like, but for me, for example, when I'm out, I always use a hat. Uh, so hat probably is one of my necessary things. necessary, unnecessary things. Uh, yeah, probably had. Probably had.
Well, yet. Okay. And what do you think about actually the belt? Because we can sometimes see many people that aren't wearing belt anymore. Like even for example with the suits, Italian style. I think, if I'm not mistaken, especially.
Yeah, actually, talking about menswear, probably we're in front of a kind of revamp of 50 and 60 style for trousers, for example, with a high waist, pleats, pants, as we say in French, and so that kind of shape of volume give you more chance to exchange your belt with the suspenders, uh, or to use the kind of belts made by the trousers, not a leather belts over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it depends on your body, your uh, the physicity you have. So actually, I don't like really suspenders. It doesn't give me the feeling of comfort. But when I see suspenders to other, it's something that I can appreciate. Uh, so I still using belts, and I try to choose the belt according the global outfit that I'm composing in the morning, for example. So in color or in quality, or especially the buckle maybe can be. So often I use the buckle as the tie. So the buckle for me is a kind of a jewel or something that can add on. So I don't like an anonymous buckle, but something more expressive.
Hmm.
Great.
Interesting. So bespoke has an importance in menswear, especially when we think about bespoke tailoring. Is there a future for bespoke, or like a more, like a more possibility for expansion for bespoke in women's wear? And if yes, in what areas?
I think so. Uh, I think in the latest 5-10 years, uh, the jacket came back, the suit came back, even for young people. Before, young people were trying only to use informal and casual items. But here in Italy, I can assist in uh, young people, maybe just after the university, doing the first job, the first work. So the necessity to wear more formal push them uh, to choose the formal suit. Um, Bespoke obviously is something more expensive, so it's not a kind of a wide market possibility. It's always something that stay in a niche. But bespoke has also a tradition linked to the social classes and to the unavailability of a consumer industrial product. In the past, you could go to the tailor and that's it. I mean, there is not a big department store except the big city. Uh, so technically, for woman, bespoke is like la couture. It's like haute couture. So people use it to find the clothes using a tailor-made service. Uh, we can even talk about style, and maybe uh, I saw different fashion designer trying to get back to the kind of mannish look. So the tailleur, the long trousers, the jacket, and the coat are are being shaped in a really classical way. So it's a kind of conjunction point between menswear tailoring and formal tailoring for women. And the haute couture stays obviously in another corner with his important. But often depends on the customer. People and certain social class are now more used to appreciate a tailor-made product because maybe give you that feeling of Yeah, consolidate the sense of belongingness that each one of us has to develop to live among the contemporary society. And in the other way, consumerism has led the society to consume poorer products. Uh, and on the other hand, accessibility has decreased, and everyone can now have everything,
Yeah.
but at the cost of the quality and the abuse of material that does not guarantee ecological sustainability.
Yeah.
So in one way, we can access everything. In the other way, we are probably abusing in different area, the
Mm-hmm.
planet, the ecology, the pollution, and probably consuming too much, something that give us the fake perception that we are on trends, but we are often buying something that we don't really need, and what we buy not often last long as we were using in the past. Our parents maybe had 3 or 4 suits in the closet, but the suits were really long lasting because we are made in a good way with a good material.
Yeah. I feel like bespoke, especially the aspect of being customized, because it's really made for you, maybe can decrease the consumption if people will like it, because basically if it's something made specifically for someone, they will like it more. They want to wear it more. They don't want to throw it away.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm sure. I'm sure. When I was
mhm,
kid, my mom was used to sewing the uh, clothes for me, and
mhm,
at the school, I was really embarrassed because everybody was wearing something homologating, and I was wearing something really distinctive.
mhm.
But now it's the opposite. I want to be distinctive. I don't want to be homologate. I want to express myself. I'm myself. You are yourself, and we can stay together. But I want to be as I am, not as people are.
Yeah.
So bespoke is probably the only way to stay in this position, and probably the problem of the price of bespoke service is not really a problem because you can, I mean, in some way you can have maybe you can decide to have a few things, but better done, well done. So try not to abuse to buy. Uh, in terms of quality, it's better to buy one item uh, with a good quality instead of buy 10 things that you probably will trash in the next season.
Yes, definitely. And to know, of course, how to care about them as well. Well, the suit, of course, the dry cleaner, but it's easy to.
And obviously, if the people in the world consume it a lot without necessity, are trashing a lot, and probably the planet will be stuffed by things that we have to manage in terms of garbage.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's a pity. It's a pity because maybe we can avoid them with a kind of good behaviors.
Yeah. With the
Yeah.
mind shift.
Yeah. So,
And we talked about the bespoke, but how do you see craftsmanship evolving? Do you think is there a future for smaller craftsmen, and will the relationship between big brands and craftsmen change?
mm, I think, I mean, in Italy, since the post-war period, Italy has had to start over from what it knew well. I mean, after the World War, we were like broken. Everything was uh, damaged and or destroyed, and we need to start again in terms of physicity, but also in terms of economy. And probably the success of craftsmanship in fashion in Italy was because everybody was able to sew, to cut, to give shape in terms of even little craftsmanship, or in the family. You know, the mother can saw something for the kids. Uh, the factories after the war were not available or were destroyed, so handicraft was the easiest way to start again a new life, a new era. Uh, Today, our countries, as an entrepreneur texture made up of many small companies. In Italy, probably Italy is like that country that has a lot of small companies
Mhm.
compared to other countries in Europe and in the world. So probably we as Italian, uh, we are not so big in doing big things, big industrial, big finance things, but we are really good in doing something small that works. And craftsmanship and artisanal activity is something that we are really good. Of course, we have a good company, good brands, and we have a well-known firm that are really appreciated around the world. We can say some name, but uh, Gucci, Prada, Dolce Gabbana, Versace, Armani. Uh, they starting often they started with a small um, structure, small environment, but the possibility to develop something global gave them a kind of power that now it's recognized all around the world. Uh, when in Italy was the first fashion show was like around the 50s, I think, or 49 or 50. And the first fashion show in Italy was uh, based in Florence. Now, fashion week in Italy are all in Milano. Uh, there was a nobleman called Giorgini that was a noble, so was traveling. He was knowing a lot of people around the world. He was impressed about what was going on in Paris, and so he decided to do the first fashion show in his house. He had a really big house. He was a noble person, and tried to convince five buyers that were going to Paris to come in Italy right after the Paris fashion show was finished. And in that day started the Italian, uh, let's say, supremacy in fashion. Uh, Year by year, I think all the world recognized that we can impress with our creativity and our way of doing fashion design, even with the innovation. And now we can use and make treasure with technology, because technology can help creativity to develop something more technical, more easy to produce, more resistant, or with a big quality in terms of performance. So, so in
So,
my opinion, craftsmanship will never die. And
okay.
I feel that in this period of understatement, pandemic gave to the world a kind of stop, a forced stop. So maybe we are thinking about what we did in the past, what kind of life we were living, where is our future. So maybe we are trying to come back to the origin.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So you mentioned these new technologies, and basically my question is, are there production techniques or new technologies that are becoming, you think, more popular, um, especially when it comes to craftsmanship, but also in other areas?
I think so. I mean, even for small artisans, technology can represent something interesting. Obviously, you have to have an open mind, and probably uh, the son of the actual artisan can uh, push using and adopting this technology. But for example, 3D printing or new computerized knitting techniques. Now you can print everything. I mean, and when we say print, we say producing, built. You can print a shoe. I mean, Adidas did a shoe sneaker model that is printed by a machine, sole and upper all together. But this will not only be an advantage for large company and large scale production. I think for the artisan that believes in knowledge, experience, and tradition will still be worth to adopt that. And even fabrics, for example, maybe from my grandfather, my father, an overcoat was like a 4 kilo weight, and now we can have a wool fabric, natural, that can give us 1.5 kilo coat. So it's different. And probably we are living in a more comfort lifestyle. Maybe we have a house with a good temperature. We don't pass a lot of time outside a house because maybe we go out the house, we go in the car, we go into the office, so we are not so exposed to the climate, so we can use less, and the fabric are changing even our way to wear and to build clothes.
Yes, the fabrics are more technical. Do you think that people are wearing more technical fabrics, even in terms of suits, for example?
I mean, in elegance, sometimes there is not the. It's not a matter of function. I mean, elegance, it's elegance, and function is function. But for example, if you are talking about sportswear, outdoor, casual wear, active wear, leisure wear, so it's the new terms that are giving a distinction to the contemporary habit. In that case, functions here is really important. It's important in terms of protection of the body, durability. So having something that give you performance, in some cases it's really important. In my opinion, for elegance, this is not necessary. So, but for example, for a mountain jacket or mountain shoes or something they use for doing gym or running or go cycling or motorbiking, whatever. So everything is fashion, not just the gala dress or suit.
Yes, but most people love Italian fashion, and it is one of the greatest fashion influences in the world. But according to you, like, what makes Italian style?
In this case, we are really lucky person. I mean, as Italian, I'm really lucky. It's a story that begins. We need to pay back for this lucky we got. It's a kind of a big gift that we received, and the story begins long ago. Italy is probably about the geography. Italy is in the center of the Mediterranean, and it's a good sea because it's protected. Spain, France, Italy, and all the other countries that are facing are in front of this sea, and has always been the cradle, the baby cot of the culture and modern society. It's an open air museum, and as Italian, I said I'm lucky to be born in this country, and because we consider that Italy, it's like 0.5% of the world surface, land surface, and Italy has the 0.83% of the population of the world. And in this little country with so few people, we include 7,000 edible species of vegetable. and the second country in the world is Brazil and has 3,000. Only in Italy there is like 60,000 animal species, different animal species, and the China is the second country as 20,000. We have 1,200 different type of vineyard, more than France. We have, for example, 500 types or different types of olives, grains, and we are the country with the biggest biodiversity in the world. It's not what I'm saying. It's I mean it's a fact, and the beauty of nature, also thanks to Fibonacci or Leonardo da Vinci, has been codified to recreate the beauty and to create a formidable aesthetic sense, because everything around us has the kind of sense that architect, artists, and mathematics they codified for watching what was going on in the nature. And nature is beautiful. The flower is beautiful. The tree is beautiful. Everything around us is beautiful. And together with the Roman Empire, that has been a social and political leader in the world since 2,000 years ago, more than 2,000. Monuments, churches, painting, and works are also the result of the power of this empire and the Catholic Church, because Catholic Church represent a big spenders in terms of art. Gave commission to build church, to paint chapel, to paint big masterpiece. So now today, Italy owns the 70% of the physical heritage in the world. And in the rest of the world, there is a lot of heritage that are made or projected by Italians. And 70% of the physical heritage in the 0.5% of the land surface of the world. That's our luck. So I don't know if this is the reason why we have this developed sense of aesthetic, but probably that was an element that gave us this kind of view or characteristics. So that's why we're lucky.
It's so interesting. There's opposing ideas, and one of them says that basically abundance and well-being fuels creativity, but there is this other idea which says that pain and suffering also gives birth to creativity. But when we look at Italy, it's clearly a manifestation that when people feel good, when they see beauty around them, that's when they develop this sense. Looks like creativity.
I believe in that. I'm sure of that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Then we have a lot of defect. I mean, but in this case, we are lucky and we are happy to be in this special environment. I mean, if you live surrounded by beautiful things, you probably will develop a beautiful mind, and you probably appreciate everything beautiful. In the other sense, you probably will avoid something that is not matching your aesthetic sense or beautifulness sense. So it's a two faces of the same medal. So you were talking about uncertain times.
Yeah. What do you think that how will fashion change, and like especially right now? I mean, yes, we have these very uncertain times, and how does it affect the designers and craftsmen in Italy and elsewhere?
Personally, I hope in a step back. And I think a lot of the observers around the world I think the same things. We are consuming too much, and probably who is involved in the fashion world had a perception that even big brands like Armani and other brands decided to change the way and the velocity of the development of the collection, the way the collection goes to the store, the way the collection are distributed to the world. So everybody now is uh, stopping a bit and think about maybe we should care more uh, about our life and our world. So maybe it's not necessary to to buy useless things. So we probably will appreciate again the quality of the things made as in the past, things that last, things that are well done, and respect and that respect people and the planet. Probably, probably this is a kind of forecasting, my
So,
personal forecast.
so you think there will be a return of things, so like sewing skills made to last rather than, things that to go out of fashion quickly. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I cannot ask everybody to stay at home sewing his personal clothes, but
yeah.
probably people will do it. And
Mhm.
for example, vintage and pre-owned stuff in Italy, it's really common. I mean, especially
Mhm.
for young people, and not for only for young, but we have a lot of activity based on pre-owned stuff. So you can access maybe uh, things that were precious when they were created, and people decide not to trash but to uh, make a kind of a circular economy and put it again into the market. So give to the possibility to other people to appreciate the value of that things. So we are here in Italy. Young people, it's really vintage or used and pre-owned stuff oriented.
Mhm.
So to change the strategy, but also like the mentality, do you think that people in this uncertain times they maybe think more about um, buy less but better and try to be more interested in quality and not in, as we call it, the fast fashion?
I mean, if not only believe that, they should. They
Mhm.
should. I mean, we need probably, and we should buy less and buy to last more. But more in general, I believe that sustainability, the attention to the environment, to the planet in terms of ecology or renewable energies, we care the care we will have in terms of inclusivity or work salary in emerging countries, uh, it's a too important topic to be forgotten. So uh, this matter we will face to in the near future is something that we need to consider really with a strong attention.
Okay, and what do you think? Like, will the current cultural sentiments and uncertainty affect the taste of average people?
For example, at the university, my students are in the average of 20 to 30 years, 28 to 29. Uh, and for me, it's the mirror of the new generation that will manage what we will leave for them.
Mhm.
And I see every day uh, uh, deep thought about the planet, deep thought about changing behaviors in order to live better. So I think young people are available to renounce to the things that now we have around us that maybe is not really necessary. I'm not talking about commodity, but I'm talking about maybe excess in luxury or excess in consuming. And I think the young people, Gen Y or Gen X, are really ready to take care about the world probably in a better way we did in the past. I hope that.
Yeah. Sometimes what makes me think is because this is what I see around myself too, but is this really the average, or are we living in a bubble? Because usually we are surrounded by people who think like us, right? So
I try
I
to
want,
give my best example. I mean, I try to do
yeah,
my best to give them, but they
yeah,
are smart. I mean, they are smart.
yeah. Okay. Thank you, Gianni. Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for
Thank you
a
all.
very
Thank you.
It was
meeting
a
and interview.
pleasure.
So, Fashion Talkers, you can read and learn more about Gianni on his website and also on Instagram, Gianni Fontana. And please do not forget to share this online meeting. All of our meetings are shared on our website and also on our YouTube.
And well, thank you again, Gianni. And after this live session, you can access this interview immediately and share it anytime. And if you liked this content and want to know more, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on our LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook at Fashion Talks. .ch. We appreciate your attendance and support. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you again.
Ciao from
Gianni.
me.
Bye bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye.